Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Searching for answers in the rubble.
There's nothing left of the property. I've never seen anything like it.
New information tonight in the house explosion that killed 4 members of the same family. Right off the top here at 5, investigators don't think foul play was involved in this weekend's explosion in Northfield Township.
At an update today, officials say it was caused by a so-called fuel-air explosion, but are waiting on confirmation to find out what type of gas caused it. Here's Victor Williams.
Our community suffered a tragic and devastating loss. Our hearts go out to the family in this time of crisis.
We now know the names and ages of those killed in a house explosion that nearly wiped out an entire family on Winters Lane. Sadly, the youngest deceased are only 19 and 22.
The 3 Bragg children, Don and Hope Bragg, were in from Arkansas visiting Hope's father, Richard, when this tragedy occurred.
The homeowner, 72-year-old Richard Pruden, and his grandson, 16-year-old Stephen Bragg, who was visiting from Arkansas, are the only 2 survivors. Don and Hope Bragg, 51 and 53, along with their 19-year-old daughter Elizabeth and 22-year-old son Kenneth, all passed away.
It's horrible. You know, they're from out of state, and the next of kin are from a different state, and you know, they're trying to take care of the ones that are still with us and recovering in the hospital, and then their other distant relatives, you know, with stress and other health problems. It's awful.
The cause of the explosion, however, still remains a mystery.
We have an undetermined fuel-air explosion that caused this explosion. We do not suspect any foul play at this time.
Whatever caused the explosion was enough to destroy everything above the basement, with vibrations that could be felt for miles, leaving debris strolled across 2 acres of land.
There's nothing left of the property. I've never seen anything like it. Everything's just blown into such small pieces that it's hard to make sense of what everything is.
And this entire situation is just so devastating, knowing that this explosion nearly wiped out an entire family. We want you guys to know that this area right over here by the site is completely blocked off, as you guys can see. So police, they want you all to avoid this area as much as possible. There is a vigil that is set for January the 6th right over at Whitmore Lake High. In the meantime, we are reporting live tonight. Victor Williams, Local.
Okay, Victor, thank you.
You're an animal. Pandemonium last night on the field in Pasadena. Epic celebration just moments after the Michigan Wolverines sealed the Rose Bowl win over Alabama for a trip to the national championship. For Michigan fans, stress level was pegging the meter last night there toward the end, wasn't it?
It all paid off, though, with some heroics in overtime. Jamie Edmonds here, and they're back in Ann Arbor looking ahead to the championship game against Washington. Can't believe it.
Michigan playing for a national championship. Let's let that sink in just for a little bit. They finally broke through and won a college football playoff game. But before we can look ahead, let's celebrate that huge win over Alabama yesterday at the Rose Bowl.
There were miscues, there were mental mistakes, there were some pretty tense moments yesterday. But during it all, at least one guy was cool as a cucumber.
When it comes to these situations, I was calm. That fourth quarter, that overtime, I just felt like there's nothing that we couldn't overcome inside of this stadium.
Overcome they did on that 4th and 2, on the game time drive, the touchdown in overtime, and then the stop.
That's Williams in motion. Low snap. Milroe stopped. Michigan makes a stand.
The players have said it all season long. Bring on the adversity. They thrive in it. They're stronger for it.
We weren't really getting things going, but that never bothered us because it's all in the past and we're just focusing on staying in the present and controlling the future.
It was J.J. McCarthy who said last year, walking off the field after the loss to TCU, that the Maize and Blue would be back. And this is the whole reason Blake Corum returned to school.
It's been a long journey from last year to this year and how things can change and how much you can grow. And I'm just blessed. God blessed me and giving me the opportunity to do what I do. And, you know, shout out to my team. It was a great team win.
The guys know the job is not done yet, but it's okay to relish in just how far they've come.
My ecstatic joy is for our players and our coaches and and our fans and our families that they get to experience that joy of being a champion.
Pretty cool moment. Now, next up, the #1 Wolverines face the #2 Huskies in the national championship on Monday in Houston. Two undefeated teams, both making their first playoff appearance in that championship game in the CFP era. Michigan, 4.5-point favorite as things stand right now.
The Washington-Texas game was insane, too.
Shootout.
Two games that went right down to the wire. Really something.
They're usually blowouts,
yeah,
right?
You're right,
Not
right.
this year.
Pretty
so
thrilling.
You're still hoping it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
We'll see you a little bit later. Thank you, Jamie. All right, if you're looking to travel to the big game, you'll be paying some big money.
Let's take a live look. Now, this is the Houston skyline. Airline, hotel, and ticket prices to the game are now, as you might expect, soaring. Consumer investigator Hank Winchester live at Detroit Metro. A lot of people would like to get to Texas for that big game next Monday night, Hank.
They certainly would, Devin. And, you know, a lot of Michigan fans have made their way through Metro in the last few days. In fact, a flight from L.A. must have just landed because we see a lot of maize and blue. When you're talking now about turning our attention to Texas, take a look here at the big boards. There's only one departing flight right now scheduled on Delta. But let me tell you this, Delta is very aware of the needed demand. They know many Michiganders want to head south, and flights are being added right now. What a game, what a finish, and now one more to go. Michigan making its way now to Houston for the national championship. And if you want to get a piece of the action, you're going to have to pay up big time. Here's David Fishman with Cadillac Travel.
Right now, your best bet is to go be flexible with your cities and potentially just get a car.
We did a quick search online, and if you're thinking of flying Delta, you're going to pay anywhere between $1,490 up to $2,100 for the main cabin. Spirit, you're looking at between $500 and $675. The average hotel price right now in Houston, about $369 per night. If you're looking to go, you need to book now.
The air, you got to book because the airspace is going to continue to disappear. I wouldn't be surprised if Delta tries to add more flights. Southwest was showing some availability around $600 also.
So how can you save? You may want to consider flying out of a smaller airport like Flint, Lansing, or Grand Rapids and then flying into a smaller airport in Texas. You may also want to depart on Monday morning. Consider Airbnb, VRBO, or corporate housing. And remember, some group travel packages may be available and at a discounted price. So the flights that are available for Delta right now, they're out of control. I mean, you're talking about $1,500, $1,600. They're going to be adding those flights right now, though, so prices should come down a little. The good news is that car rental prices overall, they have dropped. So we kind of did the math with David there, and if you do decide to fly into one of those smaller airports, not Houston, rent the vehicle, you're going to save a couple $100, but is it really worth it in the end? So listen, if you want to make your way down to Texas, you got some work to do right now. We're live here at Metro. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank. Back to you.
Let's just drive it, Hank. You and me, road trip in the truck. Let's go.
Let's go.
Now that's just getting there. Let's talk about tickets to the game.
That's true.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight at 6 o'clock because we're not only looking at, the tickets for the U of M game, but we're also, remember, we have a big Lions home playoff game, right? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that also means scammers are trying to get a piece of the action, so we're going to break that down all for you tonight at 6 o'clock.
Good deal. All right. It's fun to have these kind of big games to think about, isn't it?
It is.
All right, Hank, we'll talk to you then.
All right, for the first time ever, the Powerball lottery had a big winner on New Year's Day, and the winning ticket was sold right here in the state of Michigan. The overall payout is $842 million if you take the annual payments. $425 million if you take the lump sum. Both those numbers, though, are pre-tax. It was sold at the Food Castle in Grand Blanc, and that's where we find our Rod Maloney.
The Food Castle is kind of out of the way in Grand Blanc on East Grand Blanc Road. And as we come inside here, you'll notice that they have had some lottery luck before. A $300,000 scratch-off winner. But right now we're looking at a whole new level of luck and excitement here.
The Food Castle lives up to its billing, offering pizza-themed gas station eats Jason Colthorpe ought to try. No matter what happens now, though, the Food Castle will become that really lucky lottery store. Regulars like Cindy Foskett and Tom Starr are cheering on the anonymous winner.
Awesome. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So glad.
I think it's excellent. It's pretty exciting.
Longtime Food Castle cashier April McNally says there's a 1 in 4 shot that she sold the ticket over the past couple of days. How excited are you for one of your customers getting this?
Very excited.
How so?
Well, it's nice that somebody in Michigan finally won a big jackpot.
Another regular, Tanya Kanai of Flint, believes this life-changing jackpot comes with divine inspiration.
God was on their side and blessed them, so obviously they must need it.
The winner can expect to hear lots of advice about what to do. There was no shortage of that here today. Are you happy for the person who won?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just hope they do something good with it.
Hopefully he spends his money and maybe shares it with his family. I'll help him maybe get a new car or get out of debt. So that's awesome.
And Susie Mandrell is a longtime Food Castle employee. What do you hope they do with the money?
I hope they live out their dreams.
So it's back down to $20 million as the big jackpot because of the win here today. And if you didn't know any better, there's nothing in the store that tells you that they sold the big winning ticket here just yet. Certainly that's going to change soon. And as the certified financial planner I am, I'm saying that if you're watching and you have the winning ticket, make sure you have your financial house in order before you cash in that ticket. In Grand Blanc, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod, let's turn our attention to the weather now on a cloudy but rain-free Tuesday as we take a live look from our Windsor Skycam.
Haven't seen any rain or snow today, but that could change as we make our way through the middle of the week here. Let's get over to Kim Adams and our first look at the forecast. Hi, Kim. Happy New Year.
Hi, Kim. Happy New Year. Well, the other thing we didn't see today was much of the sun, which I admit yesterday we thought we'd see a lot more of it than we did, but it seems like it's been that way for the last week. We thought we'll have partly sunny skies, and sure enough, we're socked in with clouds. That's why our temperatures held today in the low 30s rather than the mid to upper 30s, which is where we thought we would be. 33 downtown, 34 in Mount Clemens, and 31 in Pontiac. And there's a breeze out there, so it only feels like it's in the 20s in Pontiac, mid-20s in Mount Clemens, 23 City Airport, 20 at Metro. Current wind chill in Ann Arbor is 22. Tomorrow, back to more cloudy skies. Temperatures hold in the mid to upper 30s, which is just a shade above our normal high, which is now 34. And then late in the day, could have a few flakes, maybe even a light snow shower. And we have another chance this week as well. I'll talk about that coming up.